Well, I started here at SFA as an athletic trainer. That's what I went to graduate school for and got my graduate degree in athletic training. But I started as an athletic trainer, and my primary responsibility was women's basketball. And back when I started, there were two of us. So we split up everything a little bit. Men's, one person took, Sandy took, I took all the women's sports, but we worked together. But I started with women's basketball and traveled with them for 27 years until I decided to get out of the day-to-day athletic training and become just purely an administrator, trying to, kind of put my assistance to a lot of all the different athletes instead of just primarily with basketball all the time.
I've been here for 4 years. My first 3 years I worked with track, and then this past year I bumped up to football. So that's been really fun and exciting, but it's been a good journey so far. I did my bachelor's at McNeese State University. I did my master's at Eastern Kentucky University in athletic training, and I got to bounce around from EKU football to Furman University football, and then a little bit of time at Sewanee University before landing here at SFA. I
love the connection that I had with the team, being part of the team. The grind of traveling 5 months out of the year with basketball is difficult, but there's a lot of kids that I know, and we had a reunion a couple years ago, and I call them my kids because there were about 40 of those ladies now that have careers and lives and families and all that came back that were players with me. And I can't say for me, but with me, that I worked with them. And so that connection was something that I loved. It made the long hours easier. It made the weekends and the time away from family a lot easier because you knew them so well and they became part of my family. But getting into the admin side, it led me to not to that level, but be able to have that connection with a broader range of our student athletes. I started when I was in high school at a program with my athletic trainer there, and realized kind of the connections I got to make even at the high school level, and then continued on through the undergrad and the graduate program. But it's probably one of the best because you're with your athletes from the very beginning to the very end, and there's no other healthcare profession that's like that. It takes a little bit of everything from every puzzle piece of healthcare, EMTs, PTs, OTs, PAs, physicians, and it kind of throws them all together into one giant pile. So we're kind of a little bit of everything all rolled into one. We get to see athletes from the very start of their injuries to the very end of their injuries till they step back on the field. Because of that, you get to know your athletes very well, very personal. You get to make professional relationships that, further your career as well. Sometimes you'll get to see your athletes, going on into post-professional or any type of other leagues that they may get into outside of the collegiate setting. A lot of times the athletic trainer is the confidant. In being around a team or the individual athletes so much, there's a lot that you learn just by being around them. You would find out things about them, whether it's breakups, whether it's family illnesses. You knew who just flunked the test. You knew who was having problems at home with family or boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, that a lot of times impacted their ability to practice or how they played that day. So you could go to the coach and say, hey, FYI, so-and-so just flunked a big test, or somebody just passed a big test and this is really, this was huge, or they just found out the results of their MCAT or whatever it was. So you learned a lot of stuff that you maybe didn't really want to know, but that helped your team, but also helped the athlete, because they would tell you things that they wouldn't tell their coaches. And now that we have counselors and things, we are able to use those counselors as that. But when you didn't have a counselor on staff, sometimes you were the first person that they would come to. When I started as an athletic training student at Kansas State, I had 2 female athletic trainers. Marcy Roski was my first one, and she was one of the first females to work football. And at that time, it was the Big 8. And then Vicki Graham worked with me with women's basketball and volleyball and helped me get to the University of Florida and get to grad school. And then I've got a couple ladies that Lisa Kelleher was huge. She showed me how to balance a family and traveling Division I gymnastics and taking care of and running a lot of different things and balancing that all at once. And then when I've been here at SFA, there's a lot of women within Texas that have been huge in helping me get to this point, but also showing me that you can be a powerful leader and a great athletic trainer and move forward. But there's many, many women within the old Southland Conference that helped a younger me move up in the ranks.
So my high school athletic trainer was the one that inspired me. We were a very small 2A high school in East Texas. We were very blessed to have an athletic trainer, and she was someone that kind of, obviously took care of us to the best of her degree and the best of her standard that she could with the resources that she had. She cared about all of us. She was always there for us, and she's what inspired me to go on and continue to be an athletic trainer. From there, I got into EKU, and I had great preceptors both at EKU and Furman that showed me what it was like to not just be an athletic trainer, but to be a young professional, and to be someone in this role essentially that is going to further their education, always looking to be a higher standard, always looking to be the best. They were great leaders, and they didn't just tell me how to be a great leader. They showed me how to be a great leader, and they instilled leadership capabilities in us. And then I got here to SFA, and I continue to have great role models, not just in the administration that has several people, past athletic trainers that were here at SFA, but people that were still employed here in the athletic training world. Our director of sports medicine was a great mentor to me. And then, like I said, our alumni database is so large. Like, we still have people that come in and check in. I've had just this past week alumni that have been calling me and be like, hey, how are you doing? Like, what do you like? There's the pivotal people in your moment that make athletic training and, make this want to be your career field, but it's the people that show up later in life as well that keep you in it, and the ones that, keep you going essentially. So we have two programs here at SFA. So we have our undergraduate program. That's not a Katie accredited program, but it's what most students are going through nowadays to kind of jumpstart them into a graduate program. And then we have our graduate program here at SFA that's been here for quite some time. It has a very big legacy stand base, very large alumni stand base as well. There's been a lot of athletic trainers that have graduated from this program and gone on to succeed very far in their career. We have a lot of athletic trainers that have gone on to the professional setting, MLB, NFL. We've had athletic trainers with the Houston Texans. They go on into big SEC type Power 5 universities and our head athletic trainers there. So it's been a really good program. They have a lot of different clinical settings, how they divide it up, so their students get a very large portion of experience that they're able to kind of bounce around and see a lot of different things.
Dr. Bobo is our curriculum director for our graduate athletic training program. She had the vision, along with Sandy, to start our graduate athletic training program. And that program is run by 3 women. Dr. Mel and Dr. Keeley both came through our program, and now they have their PhDs, and they're training and teaching the next generations of athletic trainers. Around Texas, there's a lot of Stephen F. Austin graduates, male and female at the high school level. We have graduates at college level, professional, everywhere. And it's fun to see where the SFA tentacles have gone with athletic training and where all they reach, because our kids sometimes don't realize how far, even being a smaller school, a lot of the newer athletic trainers don't understand how far-reaching we are with our alums, and they're everywhere, and they're successful at all different levels. And that's a cool thing to teach them when they, as they go through the program and they go to alumni gatherings and different things. You realize that there's an SFA person everywhere.